Sponsored by the Future Farmers of America. Cinema Service Productions presents Dardanelle 1941. The Dardanelle and Russellville Railroad. The train was known as the Dinky. Passengers getting off of the train are Hootie Nichols and O'Neill Pennington, later to become Dr. Pennington of Ola. Getting ready to make the trip across the Arkansas River, they'll transport across the Free Bridge that was built in 1929, replacing the pontoon bridge that was constructed in 1921. The reason for the new bridge was because the pontoon had a fee to cross. On the right, as we come in Dardanelle, you see the courthouse. It's listed on the National Register of Historical Society. It was built in 1914. The first courthouse was destroyed by fire in 1912. Going north on Front Street, you will see the legendary Dardanelle Rock. The famous Council Oak Park, where a treaty was signed by the acting governor, Robert Crittenden, and the Chief Black Fox in 1820, giving Arkansas all of the Cherokee land south of the Arkansas River. Two homes on Front Street, the Kimball House, located on the National Registry of Historical Places, and the McClure House are located on North Front Street. The post office was built in 1937. It was a focal point of downtown Dardanelle. Across the street was a barber shop, one of many in Dardanelle. When you came to town on Saturday, you went by the post office. In October of 1941, a tornado struck Dardanelle and 7 people lost their lives and 40 homes were destroyed. It demolished most of the south part of town. Our industries and resources. There were a number of farms located in the surrounding areas of Dardanelle on Highways 27, 22, and Highway 155, which is currently Nebo Road. One of the main industries was dairy farming. Here we see a farmer with one of his prize bulls and his dairy calf herd consisting of Holstein and Jersey. In 1941, this was one of the modern chicken houses. Chicken has always been a mainstay of the economy in the Arkansas River Valley. One of the local mules that helped perform a lot of the works in the field. Along with the chicken industry, the cattle industry, the beef industry is big. Here we see a herd of white-faced Hereford cattle. Because of the dairy industry located in and around Dardanelle, the Sugar Creek Creamery Company set up business in Dardanelle along with the Quality Cream Market. It was located at the corner of Front and Clay Streets. Here we see office workers, a local farmer being paid for his delivery of milk, men beginning to work on processing the milk into cheese, weighing it, the cooking process. Modern machinery for 1941 had its place in this business. Large vats that separated the cheese, mixed it together, being placed in vats. See one of the lathes working on the butter machine, slicing it into various sizes, being wrapped, now being packaged and ready for delivery to one of the local markets. Again, butter being packaged. And quality control was even an issue in 1941. As this worker begins to package cheese or butter into crates, she also weighs one. It meets the standards, so it goes out also. Here we see two workers weighing the milk as it's being dumped in from the milk cans, and then testing the milk. Various tests were performed on the milk before it was processed into cheese and butter. Here we see a large vat of milk being processed into cheese. These men are screening the milk to separate the whey from the milk. And you begin to see the cream rising to the top, and now the whey is being drained out of the vat. Another part of the processing of the cheese, mixing it together, and now salting the cheese. Putting the cheese into vats, getting ready to seal it. And one of the final processes before packaging it, dipping it in wax. Weighing the cheese, placing it into the cheese barrel, and now it's ready for market. The Noel Jones lumber yard, with the Dardanelle rock in the background, was located in the area of North 2nd Street, named Old Highway 22 at the time. Before the park lift, men physically lifted and pushed the lumber into place. It was quite labor intensive. Here we see the men loading a skid of 2x6s, wood going into the sawmill. The sawmill later became a radio station which housed KCAV and a dance studio. Sending 1x6s through a planer, separating it, grading it, loading it onto trucks, and it's ready to go out. Finished product for new homes and businesses here in the Dardanelle River Valley area. Another big industry was the Mobley Sand and Gravel Company. It was located on the north side of the river. Here we see a tug pushing a barge over to the side with a load of sand and gravel. Dredging of the Arkansas River was necessary in order to allow large traffic to go up and down the river. This was before the days of the McKellen-Kerr waterways. Here we see the sand being unloaded. And being loaded onto a truck. The truck then will take it to a sand pile, dump it where it would dry, and then be used later for the mixing of concrete. The DNR office building located on Front Street is the present location of the Dardanelle Bank of Dardanelle. We're back at the DNR Railroad now, across the river, loading items from the train onto a van. Here we see old engine number 8. It was used in a movie about Jesse James. Some of the employees and their families that work for the railroad. Dardanelle was a center for churches in the area. Here we see the Baptist Church located at the corner of Market and South 2nd Street. This building dates back to the the church dates back to the early 1840s. The building that we see here was built in 1909 and was replaced with the present church in 1964. Notice all the women coming out wearing the hats. A good Sunday crowd. And the pastor coming out saying, "I'll see you next Sunday." Here we see the First Presbyterian Church. It's located at the corner of Quay and North 2nd Streets, and it's listed on the National Registry of Historic Buildings. It was organized in 1843, and the church building was built in 1913 with the help of women picking cotton to help pay for the funds of building the church. Here we see the Methodist Church located at the corner of Locust and South 2nd Street. It was started in the 1850s. This building is the third church building that they built, and it was constructed in 1918. Again, almost every woman exiting the church has their Sunday hat on. This is the Christian Church. It was located at the corner of Harrison and North 2nd Street. Today it is the location of the Ramey Law Firm. This is the St. John's Baptist Church. It's located between Harrison and Pine Street in Dardanelle. The choir is there. The children are gathered. Everyone's in their Sunday best for their services. Cornwell Funeral Home was located at the corner of Quay and North 3rd Street. The house was built in 1861, and Cornwell Funeral Service purchased it in 1940. The current structure was built in 1979. Here we see a funeral procession leaving the funeral home, going to one of the local cemeteries. Our schools. The Dardanelle High School was located on North 2nd Street between West and Cedar Street. It was built in 1933 and torn down in the late 70s. It is the current location of the Dardanelle Boys and Girls Club. Here we see well-dressed boys and girls. Notice that most of the girls are wearing skirts or dresses. Here we see a group of the faculty members leaving. One of the lady teachers being escorted by two male students. This scene is of the Agri class, which was located behind the high school, and the class project is that of carpentry. Notice there are no power saw or air hammers. Everything was done manually. Teacher lending his hands-on experience. Yes, even in 1941, the occasional thumb being hit by a hammer. Home economics department was important. It's presently the administration building of Dardanelle Public Schools. It was located on Cedar Street. Here we see girls getting ready for the sewing classes, taking the material out, getting ready to apply the pattern, measuring it to make sure everything's right, measure twice, cut once. Girls working on the sewing machine. Cooking was also a main part of the course. Here we see not only cooking, but cleaning up. One of the girls preparing a recipe, dipping out the necessary measurement of flour. Sitting around the fireside, reading over the textbook. The Dardanelle High School Sand Lizard football team of 1941. Even in that day, they ran the sweep around right end continuously. Coach says, let's run this one again. The Dardanelle Elementary School. Dardanelle's first public school was built in 1885. It was located between Clay and Pine Street on North 3rd. It was remodeled many different times. Notice all the children coming out, girls again dressed in skirts, dresses. How little did these children know that their lives would change tremendously in just a few months with the onset of the Second World War. Aviator hats being worn by some of the boys. Dardanelle was one of the homes of one of the few slides where you slid backwards. The lunchroom was located upstairs at the south end of the building. Here we see the kids enjoying lunch and drinking one of the staples of the area, milk. High school students rode buses from the high school to and from the high school for lunchtime. The Dardanelle High School is now located, Dardanelle Hospital is now located on this block. The Delaware School is the present location of the Delaware Fire Department. It's located north of Highway 22. This was the elementary school, and grades 7 through 12 were bused to Dardanelle. The building was constructed around the 1930s. Notice most of the boys are wearing coveralls. And one young lady. Basketball was an activity that they enjoyed during recess or lunch breaks. And the girls said, "Let me play too." Notice the one young lady in a pair of slacks. The ag-rite class, giving shots to an animal. This was important since farming was a big industry here in Dardanelle. The Chiquila School. In 1930, it consolidated with the Dardanelle School. The first 6 grades remained at Chiquila until the mid-1940s. The school building is now used as a community center off of Highway 27. Chiquila is also the home of Dizzy and Daffy Dean, who went on to play for the St. Louis Cardinals. And everybody wants to get their picture taken. The Ard School. It is the present location of the Ard Community Center on Ard Road off of Highway 7 South. It consolidated with the Dardanelle schools in the early 1940s. The Centerville School. This school was located west of Highway 7, traveling south toward Centerville, before you get to the intersection of Highway 154. There were two buildings, one housing the lower grades 1 through 4, and the second building housed the upper grades 5 through 8. There's the firewood stack there. This was the main heating for the school building. He says, I want to be in pictures. The Riverside School. In 1943, this school was consolidated with the Dardanelle schools. The building was torn down in 1947 to make room for the levee on the Arkansas River banks. It was located in the area of the Hollow Bend Refuge. We see students here playing jacks and the boys playing mumbly peg. The Douglas School is located between Green and Love Streets on South 4th Street in Dardanelle. The school closed in the summer of 1964. Later, it housed the kindergarten for the Dardanelle schools. The building burned in the late 70s. It is the present site of the Riverview Apartments next to the water storage tank in South Dardanelle. And basketball was a big activity here also. Here we see the boys involved in a game of basketball. And the girls saying, let us try our hand at it. Pass the ball inside, back outside, inside, the shot goes up, no good. Folks you might know here in Dardanelle. A young mother and her child sitting outside the Methodist church, enjoying one of the favorite drinks of the time, a Coca-Cola. Now Dad takes his turn with the boy. A WPA project. It was a sewing project. It was sponsored by Yale County, by the Yale County Work Projects Administration of the Federal Works Agency. This was started in 1933 or in the 30s during the Depression. It was located in the old Masonic building at the corner of Pine and North Front Streets. Ladies were sewing items during the war for the Red Cross. Here we see Harold Snyder, the ag right teacher at Dardanelle High School, holding class with farmers of the area. The Ladies' Garden Club. Woodson's Clothing Store, located between Malins and First Arkansas Valley Bank. It was one of the main centers of commerce in Dardanelle. You could buy silk hosiery, whatnots for the shelves, dresses, suits. Every man had to have a black suit. That's Mr. Woodson with the cigar, trying to make a sale. There's a browser. And there's Billy Woodson, the son of the Woodsons, looking at a pair of cowboy boots. One of the other salesmen showing shoes to one of the young ladies. Hats. You had to have a hat in your ensemble to be the best dressed woman in town. See in the background, shirts for $1.19. Here again, hats for $1.79, $3.75. The Cunningham House, located at the corner of Clay and North 2nd Street across from the Presbyterian Church. Here we have the Dardanelle Music Club, gathering for a picture. Again, notice all the hats. Fur on the collars of the coats. (1942) Chevrolet, the finest Chevrolet of all time for the service of America. You can have anything in a Chevrolet as long as it was black. This car came equipped with a radio. Here it's leaving the Cunningham House. Chevrolet Super Service. One of the local mechanics at the Chevrolet garage, fine-tuning the engine. Body work being done on a dented fender. Rubbing it down, getting ready to fill it and paint it. The Ladies' Bridge Club. Now that lady knew how to build cars. Donna Wallace Berryhill, Council Parks. Donna still rides horses today. Downtown Dardanelle, most likely on a Saturday morning. People came to town to shop, to visit, to transact business, and of course, to go to the local post office. The Joy Theater is located where the Dardanelle City Hall now stands. These girls are dressed for their Saturday visit. These men waiting for the wives to get done shopping. The Cornwall Hotel, located on Market Street behind the Baptist Church. It served noon meals on Sunday for 25 cents. After the visitors had been served, then Mrs. Cornwall would serve her family. Back at the post office in downtown Dardanelle. The elementary school on 3rd Street. Some would say animal cruelty. Riding up over the ridge, Lloyd and Valak Conway on Highway 27 across from Grayley Cemetery. Now back to where we started the film at the D&R Railroad, North Dardanelle. Leaving on the train, Dr. O'Neill Pennington and Hootie Nichols. We say so long. This video was narrated by Kent Talent, May 2005.